Greetings. Oh my god, it has been such a long time since doing this live stream. Oh my god, hello, greetings. Hold on, where's my chat? I cannot find you. Whether I'm just finding my chat window. Give me 1 second. There we go. Beautiful. Greetings. Hello. Hey, hey, hey. Hello. I know, I can't believe it has been so long. Hello, hi. Oh my gosh, there are so many people. That is amazing. Hello. I see everybody. Bus spotter, Nikki, hello, Alison, Matthew, Louise, Julia, Reese, Copenhagen Rail Productions, hello. Thank you guys so much for stopping by this evening. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Was it a bit choppy? Yeah, I know. It's been a while since I've streamed. I've tried to get all the settings set up, and it's not having it. Yeah, I know. It's not the best setup that I've got at the minute. Like, it's been such a long time. Like, the streaming software that I normally use, it didn't recognize my account anymore, because I think the last stream I think was like April, maybe May time, and yeah, my software, when I tried to log into it was like an hour or two ago, and it was like, we don't recognize this account. So I went through all the process and everything, and then once I got it all sorted, I had a notification come up that said, oh, by the way, once your account has been authorized, you need to wait for 24 hours. Oh, great. Thanks very much. But it is what it is. So I've had to do it a different way than normal, and I've not got all things the way that I want it to. But still, it's all good in the hood. Oh my god, you got all of the things. Technology! Very, very true. Alison, is your fiance moderator behind the scenes? Congrats on the engagement. Oh my... See, this is this is how long that it's been since last time, is that I've ran the majority of the tube map, and I also got engaged, which is crazy to think about. Yeah, absolutely well, but no, Josh is not moderating for this evening, so it's just me and you all. It's just us, so yeah, it's all good. It's just us. Yeah, crazy stuff. I'm just like, the fact that it's like, there's 1 day left until I've run the London tube map, I think it's something that is still just so crazy to think about. Like, it's not just running the overground, like, literally all of the modes have been covered now. minus like one little bit, and then that's everything done. It's just absolutely crazy. So before before I start like answering like questions and all that kind of stuff, I just want to take a moment just to really just to say thank you. From the very beginning, I didn't know that any of this would even go anywhere. And I think it was just like sharing my journey and like seeing what would happen, and the fact that it's now sort of coming to the close of this part of the challenge. The fact that there are so many people who take an interest and who, you watch every week and, comment and like all of the lovely messages that I've had throughout the whole time I've done all this. I just want to say just a massive thank you. It's means the absolute world. So genuinely, thank you all very, very much. It means, well, thank you. Very much appreciated. But on a little other note as well, what else is occurring? Oh yeah, the other thing as well, I've had merch release as well. Finally, after like however many months. Yeah, I reached out to the guys over at Masket, and so if you're not familiar, they have all of the different like transport, mass moquettes, so the other merchandise that they do. I know that G Loves Trains reps a lot of their stuff as well. Absolutely love her, and a few other people as well. Yeah, I reached out with the guys at Mascat, and I was like, hey, I want to work with you to do some transport merch, underground stuff. And so we finally have some things that I know it's not like, here's the thing, I know it's not like a crazy amount of stuff, which is fine. It's just like starting with some t-shirts. I know that they're going to be increasing the range like over the course of time, like say with hoodies and other bits and bobs. But for now, I'm just like experimenting with t-shirts. That can be found if you are interested. It is on their website, so I think it's .co.uk. I should know this. This is terrible. Pretty certain it's masket.co.uk. But shout out to the team over at Masket for hosting my stuff. And if you want to check it out, you are indeed more than welcome to. Yeah, very, very thankful. Very, very thankful. And yes, nurture ground. Exactly. Exactly. Oh, do you know what? Do you know what? This again, like this is how long that it's been. So the social, yeah, I changed my. So there have been, okay, I need to, before I get into questions and all that kind of stuff, I just need to delve into something. I know that over the past few weeks, I have been experimenting with my channel a little bit in terms of the content that was delivered, in terms of the channel name. So at one point it was like my name, and then I just didn't like it. So then I changed it back to like Runderground Matt. And even with the types of content, so with the, how British Summer was founded, and there was another long form video about like running in hot weather, which I did actually end up unlisting just because I don't know, I just didn't think that it was representative of the channel. It felt, I don't know, it just didn't feel right with that one. So I did take that one down, but I did keep the other videos up. But I'm just experimenting with like what works and what doesn't, and I found what works and what doesn't. So thank you for your patience with that. But yeah, it's just just trying to figure out in the YouTube grand scheme of things with just like, I don't know, like YouTube's a bit of a weird one. I know that what I do and like other like niche tubers is that I know it's not going to get out to like a huge audience, which is fine. I just think I'm thinking now in terms of like the long run, no pun intended, but just seeing, what happens, But without further ado, I'm going to start asking some questions. I'll be here until I think about, I want to say like 9-ish. So like an hour and 20 minutes, which is all fine and dandy. So we're going to be here for some time. And I'm here to answer some questions about, what it's been like running the London Tube Map, or the other questions that you want to ask. Do put them in the comments. I will preface that if I don't get round to answering your question, I am very sorry. I do want to make sure I answer as many questions as I can, but if I don't answer your question, Please don't hate me. Yeah, I'm just trying my best. But I also want to make sure that, yeah, I get as many questions as I can, answered as I can, but without rushing through everything. Anyhow, all right, let's see what is occurring. Thank you for listening to that little monologue, by the way. And also, while you're here as well, if you want to give this stream a like as well, that would be very much appreciated to see. To see. That's it. That's all. I sound ridiculous. This is a. Anyway, right. Let's go to answer some questions. Okay. So the first one is I'm gonna answer Lawrence Gill. What line was the most unexpectedly enjoyable to run? Ooh, that is a really good question. And what a way to start this stream, by the way. Very good question. Thank you very much, Lawrence. I would say the line that was most unexpectedly enjoyable to run was definitely the I would say it's a mix between probably Thameslink or the Elizabeth line. I think I was so surprised with what I come across like over towards the west side of running the Elizabeth line. So in particular from Twyford over to Maidenhead, I absolutely love that. Because there's one section that was in particular, and I put it into the video, but there was a footpath that was directly adjacent with the Great Western Main Line, and you have this beautiful vantage point of this open field, and then you've got the railway that was there, and I tried to race the trains that were there, but no, it was that bit was absolutely stunning, because I had in my mind that the Elizabeth line was just going to be like quite industrial and like built up, especially like I guess like in particular like obviously the central section because it cuts through central London, but that's kind of a given. But even towards East London, some from Whitechapel to Chadwell Heath, I thought that was a bit meh. But definitely the far western and far eastern sections of the Elizabeth line, I thought, yeah, that was absolutely spectacular. And then with Thameslink, I mean, the bit from Swanley to Orpington via Bickley, that little bit, going through Petts Wood, I thought that was absolutely stunning. Really, really enjoyed that. In terms of like an actual tube line though, because I know that those are like kind of railways, I guess. But in terms of like tube lines that surprised me, I guess the district line, because that one cut through the nature reserve, that I kind of had some idea that it existed, but to go through it, yeah, it was absolutely stunning. The district line did genuinely surprise me. I thought that was great. Okay. Oh my gosh, all the questions. Thank you so much for all these questions. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Pettswood is lovely. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Oh, Gabriel, hello. Oh, cat. Yes, there is I do have my cat that is just out of view. Just there. His name is Brie. As not like Brie like the cheese, but Brie from, if you're familiar with Desperate Housewives, they're named after Brie, the character. Okay. No question. I just wanted to say thanks for taking us along the ride. Your videos have been fun to watch, and I look forward to what you have planned once the tube map is done. The Angry Intern, thank you so much. I actually spent some time over the past few days. I was watching back all of the videos. I think it's just crazy to see just how much has changed in terms of the content over the past year, in terms of like a delivery style, in terms of the editing, in terms of the storytelling. And I think the progression that's been made during that, I'm so proud of. And I guess like again, like going back to what I said before, it's a fact that again, I kind of I went in like on the very first day. I genuinely didn't think that anyone would watch or anyone would care, and I think that you can tell in my expressions, like my body language is a bit like, oh yeah, I'm running every station on the London Tube map. Like it's got that like blasé kind of attitude. I feel like, and so from seeing that people do actually care or that people are interested, and that's the thing, like not that that should matter anyway, but the fact that it has resonated with so many people, and that if inspiring people to go out to a different part of London that they've not been to before, or they have been inspired to run again or to do something else. I'm just like, it blows my mind that it has had as much of an impact as what I thought that it would have. And so that has been the most incredible feeling. And so, to bring you all along the journey is just been incredible. And I can't wait to, like, I can't wait for the future to see what future things are happening, which I will talk about a bit later, about like what's next. Okay. But thank you so much, the Angry Intern. Very much appreciated. All right. Ooh. Has there, Reese's transport videos, has there been any lines that you just wanted to get over and done with that you didn't enjoy? That's a really good question. The lines that I didn't. I guess a part of me wants to say the Waterloo and City line because I did it as a marathon. I guess like during that one, there was definitely, I think it was the halfway point when doing the marathon on the Waterloo and City line, where I was like, you know what? Why am I doing this? Like, but I thought, you know what? I can't drop out. Like, I can't. There's no way. Like, I can't drop out. So I kept it going. So that one, I was kind of like, I want this one to finish now. But no, it was definitely worth it by the end. But in terms of like a line itself, I couldn't wait to finish. I would. I'd say maybe the Bakerloo. I think maybe the Bakerloo. I was looking forward to finishing just because I was like, oh, I just like cannot. I can't be bothered. I think I was having an off day when I was filming that, but I thought I'm here. Like I can't. Like I just get it filmed, get it done, whatever. And what's weird, looking back, I wish that I did go back to refilm the Bakerloo because, one, I wish that I'd done more research for the Bakerloo line, but also with the Bakerloo line in particular, for the footage that's used, the files that I had. So normally, like with my footage, once I've come back from the underground run, I usually tend to come back to, well, obviously I'm back home, but then I put my memory card into my MacBook and then get all videos uploaded onto Google Drive. And then for the files that are on the SD card, I then copy it into Final Cut Pro. But what ended up happening, I don't know what happened, but somewhere along the line, the files that were uploaded to Google Drive were corrupted, and the files that were on the SD card were also corrupted. And it was during a time where I think any files that, if you had any media that was on Google Drive, was on Google Photos in like a lower resolution. That's changed now. So the videos that I used for the Bakerloo line was in like really bad quality because something corrupted. It was just a bad day line experience. So I guess for that one I was kind of like, yeah, I don't know, that whole time was a bit weird. Let's see. Let me just catch up with the chat. Nikki Aubrey Runway. That is very true, Nikki. Matthew Payson. You've definitely inspired me to run again. I've got a 5K in 5 weeks. I'm not fast, so anything under 40 minutes, and I'll be really happy. Matthew, that is incredible to hear. Thank you so much. And that's the thing with any sort of distance, is that it's not about time. And that's something that is still a testament to what I have for Runderground in itself. I know that at the very beginning, with the collab that I had with Jeff, I think a lot of people had in their minds that I was going to be racing tube lines, and that was like a one-off thing. But the overall thing about Underground is not about running in like the fastest time. It's not about like, oh, we're gonna race this tube train, I'm gonna get back on it or whatever. It was just about seeing what was in between the stations as well as around the station itself, but also just to explore and to allow yourself the time to really stop and look and take it in. I think that when you focus too much on time, that you don't have a moment to absorb the environment and the atmosphere and that kind of stuff, and like you can really get a feel for the area. And I'm sure that for anybody that is watching, that if you've ever done a race or competed or whatever, that once the race is over, you stop and you reflect and you're like, oh, I actually don't really remember much. Like, I definitely had that recently when I did the London Landmarks Half Marathon. Like, I think of that now because I was focused on getting a PB, which I didn't get, but that's fine. But I realized once I got to the end, I was like, I actually don't remember anything at all. And I think that when you put less of an emphasis on time, that you really get to see everything. And that's something that has absolutely been a turning point for me where, yeah, getting like fast times, yeah, it's nice and all, but I think to actually look at everything, rather than like looking at this and like, ooh, like that's no, ma'am, that's not how it works. At least not for me. But yeah, but I'm very happy to hear that it has inspired you to start running again. That is incredible. Thank you so much. Oh, Joe, hey Joe. Joe Spectacular, you've definitely found your groove now. Absolutely. I think that with anything that you do, if you really put your mind towards doing something, you will absolutely learn something new every single time. I think that the day that you stop learning something new in any like hobby, profession, career, if you're not learning anything different, then I think that you should do something else. And so from the, like, with everything on, with the path that I've taken now with, content creation and like video editing and that kind of stuff, like I'm learning stuff all the time. And I think that's just, it's a natural progression in anything that you do, where it's like, I'm not really getting that same level of satisfaction as what I was getting before, but also with the things that you are learning to do, that you're allowing yourself to make mistakes, that you allow yourself to really have a moment of like failing. Like, I know that there's definitely been mistakes that I've made with the channel and the content. So say, for example, a key one was when I did the overground from Surrey Quays to Clapham Junction, and the whole thing was about like secret stations, and I was going to whisper the station facts about like, oh, it's a secret station, and I thought it was really funny. But then judging by the reaction of some people, where they were like, oh, this is like shit, this is awful, it's annoying, like you're really annoying, like all this other stuff, I was a bit like, oh, let's maybe not do that again. But yeah, I think it's just allowing yourself to make mistakes and fail, because then you think, oh, this doesn't feel like a nice feeling, like someone's said that. I think it's just allowing yourself to be like, well, you know what, I know that I can do better for next time, or okay, no, I know that doesn't work, let's try something else that does. I think that's definitely been the biggest takeaway of it all for me. And I guess like, especially, you know, if we're looking at like my content now, I think before there was the goal of trying to get the video of between like 10 to 12 minutes and thinking of like, oh, but it's the watch time and all this other stuff. But when I look at the videos now, there's just like a lot of, in my opinion, I feel like as if there's a lot of fluff and just like, oh, like filming around, and you know, it doesn't really give it much intention, which is why now I have like a full, like really like a script beforehand with all of the facts, all the things I want to hit, that all the points that I want to hit, and just having even more of an intention and to make the content even more engaging. And I've noticed that that's like been a in my opinion, I think that's been a massive benefit. Just being like, all right, go in, do. Here's all the things, rather than, well, I don't know. It may, who knows? Like, it may change in the future, but I feel like right now it's just trying shorter form video formats, you know. But anyway, long-winded answer. Simon Trains, good evening. Hello, hello, hello. Simon Trains is in the house. Also, bestie, in the time between the last live and now, I got a job in Network Rail, and I also think that's some underground print right there. That is amazing, Nikki. That is so good. Congrats, girl. Love that. Very well done, babe. Blake. Oh, hi, Blake. I remember you. I remember meeting you at the southern end of the Northern Line. Yes, at Morden. You were with your friends. I feel like it began with S. Oh, I can't remember. But I remember there was you and a friend. Thank you for stopping and talking to myself. Oh, you just said after stopping to me and my friend in Morden. What's next? Running the bus routes of London. And thank you so much, Blair. Thank you so much for popping by. I do remember chatting with you and your friend. And even for the people that have spotted me while I've been running about in London or wherever it is, I know there was someone who did recognise me up in Chesham. I think it was about a month or two ago. As there was another guy at Edgware as well. Yeah, and so many more. Like, here's the thing: that there was somebody, I can't remember who it was. They'd commented and said, "Oh, I'd seen you at East Croydon like when I was doing Thameslink." They commented on one of the videos and said, "Oh, I saw you at East Croydon. I didn't know if I should come over and say hello." I'm like, if you see me out in public, like, come and say hello. Like, it's fine. I don't have any. I see it as this. I think if someone has taken the time out of their day to come and say hello to me, I will always make time for you. But I think that it would be self-righteous of me to be like, oh, oh, sorry, I no photos, no, like, it's ridiculous. Like, girl, come on, like, no. So yeah, if the fact that you want to take time out of your day to speak with me, I will absolutely make time for you. So yeah, come by and say hello, man. Just like, don't turn up at my address, but yeah, you see me out in public, then yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can have a chat and on all the good stuff. I like the secret stations. Thank you, Dazzling Daz. I did too. Here's the thing, like, I thought it was a really, I thought it was a really funny video, but there were just some people who got so mad. It was like, oh my God, like, I didn't realize that it affected people that bad. I in my head, I just thought it was so funny, like, oh my God, it's like hidden, it's a secret, shh, like all this other stuff. And people just like, yeah, I hate this. And what was it? There was one comment that had said something like, oh, what was it? I can't remember, but it was other thing that was just like, these facts, everybody in the UK knows these facts. I'm like, well, I didn't, and I don't know what you want for me to do about that. Whatever. But yeah. It's just been trial and error, absolutely, and it has been. Yeah, it's absolutely been trial and error. And my thing is that with any step that I take, I'm very confident with the steps that I take, even if it's where I fail. If that makes any sense whatsoever. I'm not afraid to try something publicly and be like, oh, that kind of flopped. Or that kind of didn't work. But I think that with absolutely anything, I think that if you're not prepared to kind of like take a breath and try something, then all that you're going to do is stay just within your comfort zone. And I don't know, I think that it's so important to keep on challenging yourself and continue to make that comfort zone wider, you know? That has absolutely been a changing point. Like, even I had such a, I don't want to say like a phobia, but I had such a fear of filming out in public, because I'd seen videos of people that are doing it, and like people come and like say stuff to them, and I have experienced that a few times. There was one time in particular, it was when I was filming the trams. It was just during the week. I don't know what happened, but I felt like as if there was a lot of hate going on the internet, and I had some not so nice messages come towards me, but then I also had those same types of messages like said to me in person, and that did it did mess with me quite a bit. But I think that it was from that experience where now it's just like, well, if anyone says anything, okay, what do you want for me to do about that? So now I don't get phased about filming out in public or whatever. And again, had I had not gone through the process of, being out of my comfort zone, then yeah, I wouldn't have got to that point. It can be really hard to take feedback from comments because they can be so intense, not always worded the best. I would think that I'm sure I said this it was in a Q&A video about someone had asked how it is that I deal with criticism. And my thing is that if the criticism is delivered in a constructive manner, where it's something can be taken from it, then you are going to be naturally more receptive to it. See, if you're criticizing something and you say that, there's a difference between like, I wasn't really a fan of this, and I don't know, let's talk about food. That's the first thing that's come to me. I probably need to eat something. If we're talking about food, we've got like, there's this pasta dish and this pasta dish. This pasta dish, I didn't really like this. It was a bit, overcooked. It was a bit, it's a bit whatever. And then on this side, it's like, this was shit and I hated it. You know what I mean? There's like constructive, unconstructive. You are going to learn more from being like, if someone's saying, I felt like this was a bit under, so, less about food but more about content. If someone is saying, I wish that you could have spent more time talking about history, or spending more time talking about, I don't know, just maybe elaborating on a further point, rather than just saying like, your knowledge is I mean, no one's said that, but like, your knowledge is shit, or you don't know enough about this. I think it's about allowing yourself to be like, okay, I see where you're coming from with that. I can take on the feedback. Fair enough. And from reading comments and from gauging the general perception of something, I think that's when you tend to learn quite a lot about yourself, especially doing it publicly. You do get it's weird, like you get a heightened sense of self-awareness and then it comes like back down again. I think I definitely experienced that from, when was it, in the first like few videos. I think I had like, God, I think the very first video, I think I had like barely 100 subscribers. And if you check the description of every single video I've posted, you'll see that I have a sub count that's on there. So on the very first video, I think I had like 100 subs, and then over the next like couple of weeks, I went from like 100 to 1,000. and it was parcel because of the collab I did with Jeff, which I feel really did put me on the map with everything, and I'm forever thankful that happened. I think it was the shock of like having like one or two comments to suddenly having like a load of people watching, and then the watching all the content that you've had on the channel so far. That was definitely a very like, I guess it was like, I don't know, I think that was quite difficult in like that perspective of like having that, oh, it's, you know, just a few like, you know, 100 like 200 people, and then suddenly whoa, on like 1,500. Yeah, that was definitely a shock. And again, like when you have constructive and unconstructive comments, that was definitely a learning point. And just like very like, yeah, at the time I'm not gonna lie, like it was very tough, but like I soon learned from it, and now we're here. Anyway, thank you. So I know that like I want to make sure that I answer questions as articulate as possible. I don't want to be like deliver like one word answers to answer people's questions. So I want to make sure that it's done in a professional manner. Um, Davina, I love all the history facts. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Um, Thank you. And that's what's so fascinating as well. With running the London Tube map, there's just so much uncovered history. And I know for a fact that there's so much that's out there that I could have touched upon, that I could have researched on. It's just part of the learning experience. And I think that that's maybe I'd seen a question that was hidden somewhere, or I read it somewhere, about what I would do differently. And I think that the biggest learning curve from doing all of this is I wish at the very beginning that I just did more research in terms of the local area's history and just seeing what was about. I think I went, pardon me, pardon me, ugh, gross. Just apologies for that. When I went in from the very beginning, I thought that it was like, I'm just gonna run like all the stations, and I'm just gonna see what happens. And I think that there was good intentions behind it, but I think in terms of a content perspective, it's hard to make a narrative over something if you're just going out and expecting to be surprised, and especially if you don't find that thing that you're looking for. Like it's hard to like build a story out of, which is why looking at the more recent videos, or at least definitely in the last half, so I think it was from like the second or third, I think it was the third day I'd ran the overground when doing the Watford Junction to Euston section of the overground. It was from that point where I took the time to sit and research what was in the area, station history, and what was local, what was, and I think that was definitely a turning point. And again, like, it's just from anything. I think that when, you're learning to, but you're just learning to do something different, yeah, I don't think that, especially on YouTube, or just in any video format, that there's the storytelling that I think is so important. And not just from a history perspective, but I also think from the running perspective as well. I think that there's like a healthy mix of the two, and I think that's kind of where I went a bit overboard with the British summertime video, like a couple of weeks ago, like a few weeks ago. I focused too much on the history element when it should also be balanced with running as well, because it's underground, not, history ground. You know what I mean? But again, like, it's just experimenting with what works, and clearly, people like to watch for the general running station stuff. I think when it comes to like very niche topics, I think that's where it gets a bit iffy. But again, it's all just been a learning experience. And which, speaking of, in terms of, wait, what? Oh wait, the ones I will catch up with comments in 1 second. Which, speaking of, in terms of like what's in the pipeline for Runderground, so after I finished running, so this is like, ooh, a little glorified announcement. After I finished running the London Tube Map, I am going to be running. It's like my attempt at like doing the drum roll, but the next thing that I'm going to be running is, well, I don't know. Do you want to have a guess in here of like what thing I'm going to be doing? I'll give you a clue. It is running a train operator, and I'll be curious as to who guesses it. So the next thing I'm going to be running a train operator, but I want to see if any of you guess correctly. So I'll read out some of the guesses so far. So let's see. There's Manchester Metro, Newcastle Metro, Southern, Sodor, Scotland. All right, I'm not seeing it yet. Got to keep on guessing. No, GWR, Southwestern. I'm still not seeing anyone get it. Southeastern, no. Amtrak. I wish it was Amtrak. London Northwestern, Southern, C2C, East Western. Nobody has still got it yet. At least from what I've... Hold on, let me just have a look. So, alright, so I'll give you another clue. Because I know that there's like, what, 20... How many operators are there in the UK? That's a lot. But the mode is based in London. Greater Anglia, not Greater Anglia. Yorkshire trains, proper trains. It reminds me of there was the, what was it? There was a video that was Yorkshire Airlines. if anyone remembers that, Yorkshire Airlines. Riverboat, Crossrail. I have technically done Crossrail from doing the Elizabeth line. Metropolitan line again. Crossrail, no. Thames Clifford. That one is in the works, but that's not the next one that I'm doing. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna quickly scroll through. I just want to make sure I'm like, oh, no one's guessed it, and like someone did actually get it. So let me just double check. I'm surprised no one has still got it yet. I will say the next mode. Oh, what would be like another clue? I will say that, okay, well, I guess it's kind of a clue, but so this thing in particular that I'm going to be running, I'm going to be filming on, when I'm going to be filming, I think it's, I can't remember, I think it's like Wednesday or Thursday, I don't quite know yet, but, okay, I think I've just seen someone get it. So Chris Turville is correct. So I am, after running the entire London Tube map, I am also going to be running the Thameslink network. And that on the Wednesday or Thursday, whenever I'm filming, I will be filming with a special guest, which is why, and the section that I'm going to be running in particular is why this that certain episode isn't going to be like. So if you look at the videos, it misses a day. So it's like day 51, I think it misses 52, and then 53, 54, 55. But the reason why it misses 52 is because that section in particular, so from Bickley to Loughborough Junction, which I call Loughborough Junction, but Loughborough, learn how to say it right. But that section in particular is because I'm running with a very special guest and they could only do that day. So I'm holding off, and that section that I'm running in particular is with a very special guest, which I cannot wait to share. But yeah, so the next mode after so after the London Tube map, I am going to be running Thameslink, which is crazy. So that's I'm very much excited. Chris Nelson, I was saying hello. Nikki, no, I almost said Thameslink. There was someone who got really close. I think it was Goran. I think that you said GCR, which I guess is like, it encapsulates Southern and Thameslink. The special... I can't disclose who the special guest is as of yet. But again, you will soon find out. But there's... So I've got the... So next, I'm hoping by next Monday, sorry, this time next week, I'll have a very special video, which is... It's basically like a highlight reel of like, you know, running the tube map and all this other stuff. And I haven't got... Well, I haven't started editing it yet, but I've been compiling everything together, which has taken absolutely ages. However, I've got a very special video that's coming next week. And it even like this is the crazy part now, is that even with like, this is like the other aspect of it. Like, I've been writing up PR stuff to send to the media and all that, which has been like quite terrifying to do, because it's like, hey, I've got this story, if anyone's interested, if you want to pick it up. But that has been that's been quite terrifying to do. But yeah, all of Thameslink. So wait, when you say Thameslink, you mean all the way down to Brighton? So literally all the way down to Brighton. So I'm going to be running, I don't know how it is that, well, I need to sit and actually plot the routes, but I'll be running up from like Bedford and Bedford? Yeah, Bedford. Bedford and Cambridge, down to Brighton, down to Littlehampton, East Grinstead, because I've got a peak only service down to East Grinstead, Horsham as well. Where else does Thameslink go? I think those are like the main ones: Brighton, Bedford, Cambridge, Horsham. Raynham. Peterborough, yeah, of course, Peterborough. Yeah, absolutely crackers. So yeah, I don't know if imagine running from Peterborough to Brighton all in one day. I can't imagine that. I cannot imagine that. That would be, oh my god, that would be absolutely ridiculous. If I was to do that all in one thing, honey, absolutely not. Do you know there was at one point I very nearly, as like well, maybe I don't know, maybe I'll do it when it opens, but at some point I was actually planning on running the entire length of the Elizabeth line from Reading out to Shenfield. I was going to have that as one of the videos, but I didn't do much training for it. And because with things like that, they take, it takes a hell of a lot of training to do. But yeah, I was planning on running the entire length of the Elizabeth line, and it wouldn't... The annoying thing was that it wouldn't take in the Abbey Wood branch, which I don't know if it would like still count under the, you know, eyes of some people, which is fine. But I think, you know, the run is long enough in of itself already, but also the amount of planning that would have to go into it as well. Um, like, yeah, there would be a hell of a lot that would need to go into running the entire like Elizabeth Line, Crossrail, whatever network. But that was on my list. So I think, I don't know, like maybe when that opens, maybe I don't know. Just again, like it would just be down to if it's feasible and what it is that I'm doing at the time. Because even from a physical but also like a mental perspective as well, it does take a hell of a lot out of you in terms of, you know, with your ultra marathons and all this other stuff. It wouldn't be like a history video like what I've done in the past, because it just wouldn't be that type of video, which I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, holy long running distances run underground. Exactly. Why don't you run Stonehenge? Yeah, I'll just run in circles. How many laps can you do around Stonehenge? What does buy two get one free mean when you get one of the two free, or do you get three things altogether? Um, Google. Kenneth asks, will you be running the whole of Thameslink Southern, Great Northern, or only the Thameslink part? So this is, I guess I could like sort of talk about it. So after Thameslink, because I've ran quite a lot of Thameslink on the tube map thing already, after I'd finished on Thameslink, and again, I don't know what will happen, but we'll see. But after running Thameslink, I was planning on running the this is again like, because I'm not like, I thought about it, but I've never like articulated it, so you're literally like some of the first few people to hear about it. However, after I've finished running Thameslink, I was planning on running the Greater London Rail map. So you know where you've got your tube map, then you've got the National Rail Services within London. I was planning on running the Greater London Rail map some point down the line. I think after I've finished Thameslink, because it only makes sense, like, because the fact that I'm running Thameslink now, to me in my head it makes sense to just continue finishing the rest of that off. So going up to like Bedford, Peterborough, Cambridge, etc. So to get that done, and then that kind of feeds in with running the Greater London Rail map. That's kind of like the next thing that's in line. Are you going to change your name because you're not running the underground? No, so the name is staying the same now. I am processing trademarks and everything at the minute, so thankfully the name isn't changing. But I think just because it's not running the underground, I don't see why it is that the name should change. I think it's the affiliation of, you know, fair enough, you know, underground, like running the underground, but it's still affiliated with transport and rail and running transport rail, you know what I mean? So that's why that's still staying as that. And we like the name, Matt. Exactly. Thank you, Davina. Me too. Me too. Honestly, if you ran 3 bridges to Brighton, it would fully be quicker than the train on Sundays. Yeah, thoughts and prayers. I'd seen as well, is it from the 17th to the 23rd? They've closed off the line by the Thameslink section to Horsham, I think it is. Something like that. Jeff's latest video is Overground Secret Station. Does he whisper? I wonder. That is a very good point. I reckon he should. Matt, what is your favorite station and what is your favorite part of Runderground? Harrison, hello, thank you very much. My favorite station. Oh God. Um. Hey, Jesus. I'd say on the Overground. My favorite station on the Overground. I love Hatch End Station. I love the station building there. I thought that was really neat. Um, Another favorite. Oh God. I mean, St Pancras International, or like St Pancras Station. You can never go wrong with that one. That's absolutely stunning. But in terms of like the more like suburban areas, oh God, I'm like really thinking about that one now. I was trying to think of like all of the. I think when you combine all the stations, it's something ridiculous, like 500 something stations. Um, but yeah, definitely a standout was yeah Hatch End and St Pancras. They were big standouts for me. Um, but I don't want to say ones that are just in Zone One London. I'm trying to think more like further afield. On the oh, that was it. On the trams. Oh God, what's the name of it? On the trams, there used to be a former. Oh, I'm really like thinking about that one now. So on the London trams, there was a tram stop that was in the vicinity of what was a former railway station, and there's still like the station infrastructure that's there. I think it begins with a W. If anybody can let me know if you know which one it is that I'm talking about. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Rickmansworth. um, yeah, Rickmansworth is you know, Rickmansworth is a station. uh, what is it? Joe, I'm gonna have to look on uh, Google Maps. But if you've not been to it, if you're based in London, I would recommend going to. If I can find the station name, that would be really handy because I can't remember. Woodside. That was it. So at Woodside on the London trams, yeah, there's a former station building there, and everything is still sort of intact. I loved seeing that kind of preserved in time. I thought that was absolutely stunning. Um, yeah, love that one. And what was the other part of the question? He loved Brother Hyde, absolutely. Also, why do you change your thumbnail every couple of weeks? Well, the last time I changed it was a few months ago. I like to keep everything consistent and fresh. I like to make sure that everything has the same look about it. I don't like at the moment, like I'm still editing everything at the minute, but if you look through my videos, you'll see like the first half is like sort of done, but then this other half is still like needs updating. But I like to make sure that everything is refreshed once in a while. And I think I'd seen Chris point out there, like also for algorithm purposes as well. And also just from a creative perspective, if I know that I can do a better job at changing something and updating something, I'm gonna do it. Like obviously I can't change the video content itself, but I can change like the front cover. You know what I mean? So I want to make sure that that's reflective of that, I guess. Um, Hold on, I've just 1 second. I think I just figured out why it is that this camera's really choppy, but I can't bloody figure out where the thing is for it. Give us 1 moment. I'm going to sort this out. There we go. All right. Oh, that's the wrong one.
There we go. All right. IKEA is brilliant too. Yes. What? Wandle Park was it? Was it Wandle Park? No, Ampere Way. It was Ampere Way. The one with the steps leading to the stop. Yeah, I think it's that one. Well, it's kind of like a long ramp to get to that one, Simon. But yeah, the former station had like steps down onto the platforms, but the actual tram stop is located a little bit further along the section. Favorite is Stratford International because it's great for train spotting, especially spotting Eurostars. Very true. Yeah, I do like Stratford International. I just think it's fascinating that the fact that with Stratford International in particular, that it's almost like waiting for more things to happen. That I know that there was meant to be an international service, a Eurostar service at Stratford International. I mean, hence the name. They've got all of the facilities that's there ready, and it's just like not happened yet. I know that. Oh god, I think it was like 10 years ago, like it was around the same time when the Olympics were happening, that the platforms, like they were going to introduce the international platforms like for international services, but because of financial constraints and like other stuff, it's just not happened. But yeah, it is what it is. Thank you, Gordon, for pointing that out. 272 on the underground. I think it's 500 on the entire London, entire tube. That is correct. I just spotted above as well. You loved Rotherhithe, didn't you? Okay, with the Rotherhithe tunnel. Yeah, I don't know if any of you have ever been through the Rotherhithe tunnel. Would I recommend it? Absolutely not. Yeah. I think that was definitely. Was it a low light of Underground? It was definitely a low point. It was definitely a low point. I think in terms of a low point as well was maybe when I was doing the trams, because I think I was just trying to figure out a lot of, like, I was just going through a lot around that time. And so, yeah, I definitely struggled, not from like the physical perspective, but from a mental perspective, I did definitely struggle around, like, nothing to do with the trams itself, but just of the, I think just the circumstances I was going through. And it was actually around the same time I was doing the trams, was also the same time that I took a break from streaming. So yeah, that was I think that one's kind of like a low point for me with that. But in terms of like an actual thing was like meh about Rotherhithe Tunnel, and the Piccadilly from, well, getting into the airport terminal, that was an absolute nightmare. Like, I know I've spoken about this a few times. I sound like I'm punching a dead horse, but for those of you that don't know, you can't. So you've got the tunnels that go from outside of Heathrow Airport into the central section. So where you've got the bus station and like the other stuff, you have to take transport in or a car. And so obviously because I was running, I stopped my watch and caught a bus into the central Heathrow section. But then on the bus ride, I had someone who saw that I was, I had my camera out, and yeah, they wanted to smash my face in, like all this other stuff, and I was saying in front of all the other passengers. It was really awkward. And yeah, I still got the whole video, like, yeah, I still got the whole video, and I was, obviously I was apologetic, and I was like, I'm so sorry, like, my intention is to not cause offense. I'm not filming you, like, I'm just filming me. But he got really, really upset. And then just as I'd stepped off the bus, because I just wanted to get out of there, security had seen me with my camera out. So then just as I'd copped this verbal abuse by this passenger, I then got stopped by security, not even like 2 seconds after. Yeah, not even 2 seconds after I stepped off the bus, because yeah, camera filming, what's he doing? Do you have a permit? All this stuff, and I had to show the security all of the footage that I'd taken on the day, not even just around Heathrow Airport, but what I'd done during the entire day, to show them that I'm a genuine person and I'm just here to film, because it was around the time of lockdown. where, well, there were certain parts of the airport that was locked down. Like Terminal 4 in particular. I don't think that's still reopened as of yet, but it's because, you just have people who want to, you just have weirdos that are about, and so they just wanted to make sure that I wasn't one of them. And yeah, they were just seeing what I was filming, what I was doing, how long I was going to be there, and like all this other stuff. They were fine after. But yeah, that was definitely like one stress on top of another stress, which I could have done without. Could have definitely done without that. I went through the Rather High tunnel. It was not nice. Yeah, it's not. It's not a pleasant experience. It is not a pleasant experience, and yeah, it just smells of car exhaust. Literally a low point. I went through the Blackwell tunnel, very narrow. Blackwell tunnel. I'm pretty certain that's only for cars. So I don't know how you did that as a pedestrian. Gas mask. Oh my god, not the bloody gas mask. Do you see do not run signs a lot? I guess I only see the signs if I go to look for them. I usually tend to, I feel like as if I come across them by mistake a lot. I remember the ones at, I don't know why in particular, but I remember the ones at Willesden Junction and Hackbridge, I think it was. No, Hastings Road on Thameslink. I don't know why those two stand out, but those are like the only two stations that I recall with the do not run signs alone. Yeah. What line would you run again? Ooh. I would definitely run. I guess I would run the. I'd definitely run the Metropolitan line again. At least only certain sections of it. Like the bit from Harrow and the Hill to Uxbridge, like, yeah, that bit I'd probably missed out. But yeah, from Chesham and Amersham down to Harrow and the Hill, thought that was lovely. And another line as well. The overground from Watford Junction down to Hatch End Station and Headstone Lane. That bit was absolutely lovely. Oh, there's another one. The station after Gidea Park. Harold Wood to Brentwood. That bit was stunning. Absolutely loved that. I don't know, like there were just like certain like mini sections on the lines that I would run again. Wait, oh god, which other bits as well? I'd run the trams again. I thought they were quite fun. I think it's the ones where, like, this is the thing, like, when you have, like, with the trams, it was great to keep your mind engaged when you were running that because you knew that there was going to be a station once every, not even like a few hundred meters or maybe like a kilometer, I think that when you have, like, so when you're doing like the more long distance services, so with your Thames links, with your Elizabeth lines, is the fact that you know that the distance between the stations are going to be a lot bigger, which is actually quite difficult because as a way to keep your mind engaged, it's like, oh, there's another station, tick, right, talk about this station, all right, let's move on. There are some stations where you don't see anything for like 12 kilometers, I think it was, which on paper, like, it might not seem much to some people, but I think definitely from a mental perspective, if your thing is about, talking about history and talking about what's in the area, and it's just like, okay, I'm just waiting for that next station to come through, that, yeah, it just, I just didn't, it's hard to keep engaged with that, which there was another bit that was really difficult. Oh, on the bloody underground, the Jubilee line, like running from North Greenwich to Canada Water, like that bit was. I mean, it was actually quite nice because you're going next to the Thames, but that like running around Canary Wharf and everything was just an absolute head punish. And even when I had to do it again for the DLR, going from Canary Wharf and like just the bits that are around there, absolute mess, such a pain in the ass. And of course, sunflowers, yeah, absolutely. And the sunflower field, which I still like. I don't know if they would be in bloom now. I may have just missed it. But definitely the section from Chalfont and Latimer to Chorleywood. If there's anywhere like, here's the thing: if there are any new visitors to London and they wanted to do stuff outside of London, I would always recommend the section between Chalfont and Latimer to Chorleywood. It's, I think, 4 kilometers, something like that. So it's not like a ridiculous distance, but it's just what lies in between. I mean, if you watch the video, which I'm assuming most of you have, that was a genuine reaction from I've only ever seen it in photos, and it's not the same as when you actually see something visible like that. And I think I'd never in my life ever seen like a proper sunflower field like that before, and that felt like such a like huge moment of like staring at some flowers. But it was gorgeous. Like, it was absolutely stunning. Why don't you run around Hockpick Airport? I see you, Chris. I see you. Oh yeah. When you ran in the snow, so that was. I would say that was definitely from. So that was from Hackney Downs to Cheshunt. That was definitely one of the toughest underground runs, I would say. Like that section in particular, only because of the weather conditions on the day, like, with it being like heavy snow, and that it was the fact that the day before it snowed, it was like pouring rain, so everywhere was just sludge, like mud, sludge. It was a mess. But then because it had been snowing, that obviously made everything all icy, but not icy enough to like have a hard surface over the mud. So if like once your feet got wet, because you're stepping into what you think are just it's covered in ice, but you fully put your foot into puddles, and then it just stays cold the whole time. Like, God, I was in so much pain. I don't think I didn't really show it on camera because I just didn't want to make it like a thing, I guess. I don't know. But that one was definitely like, that was ridiculously tough. And I should have really like stopped it early and then just come back another time where the weather was different. But I thought, let's try, let's just like, why not? Why not? Another tough section, definitely the Piccadilly line was very tough. In particular from, I don't know. I think that the toughest line to run, I would say, is the Piccadilly, because there's not really an opportunity to have, like, you're not running in green spaces a lot. The only green space that you have when running the Piccadilly line, there's like a small section from Cockfosters to is it Oakwood? I think it is. But yeah, like that was the only like green bit, but then the rest of that, pretty much all the way down to Heathrow and down, up over to Uxbridge, it was just tarmac. Like, even like going through Finsbury Park, for example, like that's like a tarmac, like it's still a park, but it's a tarmacked park. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just didn't really see like a lot of variation in your environment. So yeah, definitely the Piccadilly line was really tough. Like the thing that makes a route is definitely when you have changes in your environment. Like that makes such a huge difference rather than like, and here's the thing, like I don't prefer running entirely on tarmac as much as the same. I hold on that. Let me start that one again. I don't like running just on like one surface. I'd rather have a bit of a hybrid. So like it's not running entirely on tarmac. It's not running entirely on trail either. I like to have a bit of a balance between the two. Just so long as you have something to keep your mind engaged with something, especially as you're running and even while filming and running as well. That's definitely been a factor of it. Yeah, and that's been very, very tough. Like got a lot better, but yeah. Um, yeah, when I nearly got a heat stroke, that's true. I know it wasn't an underground episode, but do you remember when you saw a snake on the NYMR? Yes, clearly. I'd never seen a snake in the UK before. Never seen a snake in the UK before. And that, yeah. That was definitely an experience. Which, with that video as well, I think that's something that I would like to do as more bonus content. That I am sort of, I haven't, I mean, I have been thinking about it, of having, because I know that there are going to be some videos on my channel that do well and some that don't, and that's fine. I was thinking in terms of the niche one, so where it's like running more heritage railways. I want to have that as like bonus content on either, I don't know, like a Patreon or a channel membership. I don't really know yet. But I think that would be an interesting thing. Like even one of the things I really want to do is run sections of the tube map that are no longer on the tube map. So like from Epping to Ongar, from Amersham out to Brill and Verney Junction. I think that would be really interesting. And other like disused bits and bobs. I think that would be really interesting to do. But I reckon that I would do that as like special content rather than having it as a main video, because I just know that it wouldn't, like, I don't think it would do too well, at least on my channel anyway. But I'm still thinking about it. I want to take you to the Tower Park. No question, but my kids Sam and Tom want to say hello before they go to bed. Hello to Alan, Sam and Tom. Thank you very much for sticking by this evening. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Running X2 blinds is awesome. Thank you, Simon. Yeah, and I guess like I spoke about it when it was the second day of Runderground, when I was doing the central line from Epping to Buckhurst Hill. I spoke about it very briefly then, saying like, because I was already getting questions from like the very first day that I ran the London tube map. I was already getting messages of like, what are you gonna do next? It's like, I don't know. But there was someone who did put a suggestion forward of like running abandoned sections of the tube map, and I think that would be really interesting to do. Yeah, I think that would be quite fascinating. There's an animal in the background. Yes, that is my cat. Yeah, and that's the other one as well. Is it acai fruit? I see. You could also run the Old Fleet Line plan. That's another thing I want to do as well. Is running the Old Fleet Line. So like from Charing Cross out to like Woolwich Arsenal, Beckton, that kind of area. Yeah, I would love to do that. There was another one. Oh, I can't remember what it is for the life of me. Kearney's High Speed Tube, and it was from Cricklewood and Aldwych down to Crystal Palace, which, if you're not familiar, Kearney High Speed Tube, it was a proposed fast like underground railway that would use different gradients to keep the train's momentum going. It didn't obviously come to fruition, but Edge. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong with this, but I'm pretty certain it was one of the stations. I think it was Edgware Road. Was built like for that or like preparation for that. Then obviously like nothing came of it. But yeah, I'd be interested in running different like proposed plans of rail routes. That's definitely on the list. Oh, I can't. Akaisha, my apologies. They talk to each other by releasing pheromones when giraffes are eating them. The more you know. Can I call you bestie because you answered my questions? Of course. I heard about that plan on Wikipedia. Randomly researching can find you interesting things. Absolutely. And there's the thing, like when it comes to the research element as well, some of the things I come across, I don't take everything that I see on Wikipedia at face value. I like to make sure that if I see something there, I like to get to the actual source as well. One of the key things, what was it? One of the things that I learned from that was when I did the research on London's proposed heritage railway that failed, I think it was. Because some of the facts that were on Wikipedia were contradictory to what was actually shared, like in the actual source. So I like to make sure that with anything that is on Wiki, because it's an open, I guess it's like an open source thing that anyone can contribute anything, I guess. So that's why I want to make sure that with any research that I do, I look at that, and it's not like the only source, but I look at that as an example and then see what's beyond that, as well as other like personal tidbits that maybe I've, read books on or watched YouTube videos on, that kind of stuff, and just see what I can apply within that. Which I am really proud of that video. The London's proposed Heritage Railway one. Like, yeah, I'm very happy with that. Running the potential Bakerloo extension. That's a good, yeah, that would be another one. Add that one to the list. And if you, and if you have the other suggestions as well, do let me know. I was actually going to put it in a YouTube studio Twitter, YouTube studio poll thing about some of the stuff that you're wanting to see as well, because I know that the things that I want to do are all fine and dandy, and if there's other suggestions that you also have as well, that can incorporate running, but it's also realistic. Yeah, I'm all ears like for that. If you have your recommendations, because yeah, I think that at the minute I feel like as if there's stuff like with the channel, like I know I'd said this before, but with the stuff with the channel at the minute, I feel like as if it's going through a transitional thing where I think that I had quite a few people like unsubscribe because it's like, well, it's getting to the end of the tube map, it's like underground, like there's not going to be any more videos, and it's actually like there's quite a lot of stuff that's ahead. So at the moment I'm kind of like in a transitional thing of like, well, are we keeping Runderground, are we not? But I think I'm still keeping the name like Runderground Matt, and then still posting content that's affiliated with, not just like the transport element, but also like the running element too. It's just been a bit weird to figure out, it's very strange. JF840 for the love of transport. Hi Matt, it's James here. Hi James. Have you ever thought no. Oh yeah, have you ever thought of doing the other mainline routes out of London? I have thought about that. I have thought about C2C. I have considered doing the long distance ones, so like with Avanti and LNER. I've thought about it. It would just take a hell of a lot of planning, because I'm not going to run in one go, running from King's Cross to Edinburgh and up to Aberdeen and Inverness. Like, hello. But yeah, if I was to do anything like that, it would have to take a hell of a lot of planning, a hell of a lot of training, and even just from a running perspective, making sure that I'm also looking after myself as well. Like, having it all on paper looks all fine and dandy, but I think it's also being realistic as well, where that would take that would take a good chunk amount of time. And considering that I need to like film everything and then, you know, edit it all after, and I don't know, like it would, and also the money aspect as well. There would be a lot of stuff I would need to do. But it's a siren. But I have thought about, in terms of like the more local ish ones, C2C is definitely up there, and like I mentioned before, like of me running Thameslink. Jaden, hey Matt, how are you? I'm good. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. How about Aberdeen to Penzance? Oh my god. That's ridiculous. I'm looking forward to what's to come, as long as it has your lovely personality. Michael, thank you. And thank you for your lovely personality for stopping by as well. That's very much appreciated. It's nice to see you on the stream too. Thank you. Kai, hi Kai. Congrats to the engagement. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It doesn't feel real still. I don't think it's really fully clicked that I am engaged, and that, yeah, I don't know. It's just a very weird feeling. I just never. Here's the thing, like I know that this isn't like transport related, but I always had this idea. I'd shared this on my Instagram story. But I always thought that, like, being a homosexual man, that I never could entertain the idea of marriage, that I couldn't entertain the idea of like being like fortified in my relationship with marriage, that I only thought it was for straight people. And so to be at a point where I genuinely never I never considered marriage a part of my life plan, and now that it's happening, it's just like, ugh. I think that with marriage in particular, I think that it's what's important is about the fortification of a relationship between two people, regardless of gender, race, and orientation. I think that that's what's so important. I think that there's a lot of emphasis about exclusivity, that it's only for like this certain like type of person, people, whatever. I think that marriage is about like it should be for everyone, and that it's not an exclusive right, and everybody deserves the right to love and be loved, so that's kind of been my general take on it all. And this is coming from someone that I genuinely had opinions where it was like I thought it was only like for like straight people, and that, yeah, I could never get married, it's not for me, so there's no point thinking about it. And so to have it happen has just been like just such an overwhelming thing. But yeah, I know that there was like a bit of like a deep tangent, but I think it's something that is important to speak about, because I feel like it's definitely been a learning experience for me in that regard, and also to my fiance Josh as well. Yeah, just, yeah, very, very grateful I'm at that point in my life. Mad shit. mad stuff. So funny. I had the same thoughts when I met my man. Exactly, and it's interesting for like a lot of like same-sex couples, and just for a lot of couples in general. Like, yeah, mad stuff. Great thing. I only seen you on the Jeff Marshall YouTube channel, and I have seen all your runs, which is amazing achievement, and well done on the runs you have done. Thank you very much. That is much appreciated. Commitment is to be celebrated, whoever makes it. That is so true. It's so, so true. It's it's just like, oops. I say it as this because I know that I said I would finish by 9. So I will like close this like very soon. I just think it's I don't think that love should be an exclusive right. You know what I mean? I think that, you know, like what I've said before, that marriage is about the fortification of a relationship. I think that, you know, even like the crazy part of it now is even, you know, like, ooh, getting married, that, you know, we can't get married at any church that we want because there's a strong religious stipulation that obviously don't, you know, like us, you know, and that's just the reality of it. And so that it's just a very sticky kind of I don't know. It's just a very weird road for me, and especially like because the way that I was raised, like my grandparents were like very religious. Excuse me, they were like very religious people, and that if they knew that I was gay, like I know for a fact that they would totally disown me, and that's just like the reality of it. So like because they were very like devout Catholics, and they were always asking about when I was going to get a girlfriend and all this other stuff. I mean, they passed away now, so you know I don't really have too many feelings about that, but it's not the same story for everybody. And yeah, there was definitely a moment in time where I just needed to like process some of that, you know. But I've spent some time to really reflect on it, and yeah, I think that, you know, marriage and love isn't a privilege. I think it's a right for everybody. Like I was speaking with one of my it was my best friend's sister. I was speaking with her today. She lives over in Switzerland, and she was telling me that there's a vote next month, I think, in Switzerland where same-sex marriage is illegal. Like, and that was mind-blowing to me. In Switzerland, that same-sex marriage was illegal. And so she was, because she's an artist, she's a she said, you know, I'm a straight white woman, but I don't want to speak over the voices of, you know, the minority. But I just want to do something to encourage people to vote for equal rights. And it's just like, I just found it so mind-blowing that Switzerland's current stance in it. I'm hoping that, you know, if you're based in Switzerland, please vote for equal rights. It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just totally wacky to me that I don't know. I don't want to get too deep with it, but it's very tough, you know? It's very tough. Anyway, on that note, yeah, congrats on your engagement. Thank you so much. Also, your name is Josh too. The time in Wii Metro is 48.2 miles, so it's just short of 2 marathons. Yeah, it's not too long at all. Yeah, I used to live in Newcastle. I used to live in the student accommodation opposite the football stadium. I used to live there for a year, and then I moved. So yeah, I was directly opposite the, I think it's just called like St. James's station, metro station in Newcastle. Yeah, mad stuff. But yeah, tiny and weird, and that's the other thing as well. All the other metro systems, is on the list of stuff. It's like there's like, this is the thing. There are so many things that can be done now. So now that the London Tube Map's done, now I'm running Thameslink, and I think after Thameslink, I'm kind of deciding between running the Greater London Rail Map or doing the different metro systems around the UK. But I think it just depends on circumstances and other stuff. I don't know. We'll see. 50 t-shirt says, proud mum in rainbow colours. Once on a train, a girl said, I wish my mum had a shirt like that. It made me so sad. It's I think it's a shame when you have, oh God, I don't know. I know that it is a sensitive topic for some people. I think that it's a problem when you have parents that live vicariously through their children, and especially when it comes to their thoughts and opinions on the world. I think that a child's perspective on something is always going to be different to that of an adult perspective. Like, for example, there is someone out again, like, you know, best friend's sister. She was telling me about a story of her kids. She saw two girls kissing, and she says, the daughter said, that looks, they shouldn't be doing that. And the mum was like, well, yeah, she was like, why should not be doing that? And the child had said, well, one of them's got gum in their mouth. You know? But I think that when you have, you know, it's a mentality of people thinking through their, like, thinking for the children, and that any opinion that goes against theirs, it's, yeah, I don't know. I can't speak because I'm not a parent, obviously, but I just, yeah, I don't know. Just treat people with respect. Is that, you know, is that too much to ask? St. James's Park Station. Thank you, Dazzling Daz. Da, 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 da. Yes, Glasgow subway would be great to do. I agree. Because here's the thing. So I'd seen before I get into this next thing, Wednesday 52 of Underground, covering that part, includes St. Heliot and Morden South. So day 52. So St. Heliot and Morden South, that should still be on there. That's under the Sutton Loop video, if I'm not mistaken. Check that video. That should be on there. But there is a section I'm missing from Bickley to Loughborough, however you say it, junction, that I'm going to be filming this week with a special guest, but I can't say who as of yet. But yeah, I would love for you to do the transport systems in the UK, such as Glasgow, Manchester, Newcastle, and possibly even Liverpool. But yeah, it depends on the circumstances. I agree. I think once I'd finished, like, the original plan, after I'd ran the London Tube app, I was planning on taking this around the UK. So, like, running the metro system in, you know, Newcastle, Manchester, Glasgow. I guess because there were a lot of things that were happening with COVID at the time, so like with the delayed lockdowns, with everything else, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't, like, jeopardize my safety or anybody else's safety for that matter. So that's why I've focused for now on, like, more London based stuff. So, like, you know, with running Thameslink. I think that once things change over the course of time, then I think yeah, I think that would be a yeah, I don't know. I would want to start that this year, ideally, running the different metro systems, and, like, I just need to speak with the right people and get that done. But yeah, I would love to do that. That is definitely, like, number one priority. But just as things are changing with COVID and stuff, I'm happy to put that on a brief back burner. When is the next stream? I don't know. I have no idea when the next stream would be. I'm hoping. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not fully sure yet. I don't care what you upload. I'll still watch it and enjoy it. Your content, no joke, has been a go-to series when I've been sad or just not having a good day. Thank you so much. That's much appreciated, Reese. And that's the thing. With the exception of the live streams where it maybe gets a bit political, you know, talking about, you know, marriage and other stuff. I'm just happy that people find escapism in what I do, because it's not offensive content that I put out there. It's not provocative. It's just very, like, safe content that's suitable for anyone, you know? And there's no joke that's at nobody else's expense. Pretty much nobody else's expense but mine. But it's the fact that I want for people to feel like it's. I don't want to say something like, "Oh, find somewhere where they belong," because it sounds like really wanky, and it just, I don't know, it just doesn't sound right to me. I think that if it's a place for people to find a bit of joy and happiness in what I do, that, you know, that's the very least that I can do. So regardless of like annoying ass whispering that I do, which I've only done once, I'm just happy that people found a thing for people to escape to. I much appreciate that. Is a special guest a runner too? Yes, they are. They are indeed a runner, and it's not someone that you would anticipate either. It's not someone like, here's the thing. It's not somebody that is like. It's not like, I don't want to say like not like a public figure, but they do things publicly. Which sounds weird in my head when I said that out loud, but I promise it's not that. It's not like a YouTube person. It's not like a social media, like it's not that kind of like collab. And I think a lot of you will be pretty surprised. But I also think it would also be a really fun opportunity because I don't, to my knowledge, it's not been done before. Like the person that I'm like interviewing / running with, it hasn't been done before, like running and interviewing and stuff. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Which episode is the Sutton Loop? Can't seem to find it. It's the first day that I'm running Thameslink, so that would be episode, I think it's 48. I think it's day 48. I was on the Glasgow subway when you started the live stream. Love it. I hope you're not being like just going around in circles on the Glasgow subway side watching this. Just joined. Have I missed any of the announcements? B, hello. So in terms of the announcements, merch is available, musket.co.uk. I'm running Thameslink next. Final London Tube Map video should be out next week if I get it edited on time. And I got engaged, but that's, you know, those are the big announcements. Yeah, that's like the big stuff. That counts out Eddie as ad. He'd be fun to run with. Sorry, they would be fun to run with. I'm not into running, but still enjoy the channel. Thank you. That's actually been such a surprising thing, is that I know that people go to different. Like, we're naturally attracted to watching different YouTube things, not because we have a myriad of different reasons to watch a person. So if it's you know, with Jeff, for example, oh, it's like the transport stuff, oh, but maybe you like his personality. Same thing like with I watch a lot of tech videos. I love tech, I very much appreciate it, but I also love the presenters and how it is that they deliver things. I've been watching a lot of Linus Tech Tips. I've always watched, of course, like Marcus Brownlee, iJustine, because I love the way that it is that, even though it's like watching the same video 3 times, but watching the different people talk about the same thing and just looking at that, I think it's absolutely fascinating, just resonating with the different things. So when people come to watch my content, you know, you have runners that watch me, you have a lot of transport fans that watch me, which I very much appreciate. And there's some people who like watching what I do. And I think that that's really cool. When can I get a hoodie? I'm hoping, so I've been speaking with Musket, so they are, to my knowledge, they are working on expanding the range. So as well as like just the t-shirts that they have for me, they are going to be expanding to things like hoodies and that kind of stuff. I don't have a time frame for that exactly, but we're just testing the waters with t-shirts now before we commit to doing things like hoodies. Because if there's no demand, then it's like, do we really want to have hoodies if people aren't interested in like the initial stuff? You know what I mean? So we're just kind of experimenting to see what happens. B, thanks, congrats. No worries, thank you very much. I hope I could like summarize like the whole like like almost 2 hour stream just to like 3 or 4 things. The rest of it has been a Q&A, so but yeah, the rest of it is has just been answering questions and everything. So when is the next video? So the next video will be, again, once I sit down and get all the footage together. I'm hoping that things work out by next Monday. I'm hoping. Because it's not, like, this is the thing, like, it's not easy going through a year's worth of, well, over pretty much like 55 days worth of content, because there's so much of it that's cut. But yeah, I'm going through every single video that I've taken, and yeah, I'm just working on a special thing. But yeah, that one is coming. Fingers crossed on Monday. I just know that like once I film this like last bit, that I know I'm just gonna be a mess. Like I'm gonna be an absolute mess. Because it's stuff like, this is the thing, like I know that I don't show too much like running stuff, but it's the fact that even like when you look at the distances, it's the fact that like, yeah, they're long distances, but there's so much of it that's cut out on video because, again, like from a viewing perspective, some of it's just not engaging. Like, oh, they're running in a field again. Oh, they're running through some woods. Okay, like I think it's just finding the balance of everything, you know. I just noticed you partnered with Masket for your merch. I got one of their masks last year. I love it. That is amazing. Yeah, I'm very thankful that I made the right decision with working with Masket, I feel. I've bought a lot of their products in the past before, like, you know, with the masks and everything, and I'm happy to see that they are, you know, work with some creators. I know that they work with Nordvog, fantastic. He's like the Northern Jeff. If you're not familiar with his content, absolutely love his work. I love that with Masket as well. They're also an independent company. It's not like your big organizations who kind of take the piss out of creators a lot of the time, you know. So yeah, I'm very thankful to work with Masket. Very, very thankful. As an outgame man myself, the It Gets Better is something I have seen over the years. It gives me hope for the future generations, and your videos adds to the visibility and is inspiring on so many levels. Thank you so much. It's thank you. I guess like with my content in particular, because the stuff that I'm doing in terms of, you know, running, in terms of all of this other stuff, is that I thought that you had to be a certain type of person to do that kind of stuff. And so you like, especially with the distances that I'm doing, in my mind, I had the stereotype of like, oh, it has to be this like rugged guy or person or whatever to do things like that. And I hope that I share a thing where it's like, you know, I can run the entire London tube map. Oh, but I just so happen to be a gay person that's doing it. You know what I mean? It's a true testament to what it is that I've done. It's a testament to the fact that I'm an example that your orientation bears no correlation to your ability. And I hope that that's something people can take away from it as well. With the exception of live streams, in my videos, I don't bring up my sexuality. It's just the fact that, to me, I don't see it as like, I can only do this because I'm this, you know? I don't want to have myself feel like as if I'm limiting myself in the things that I put my mind to, that I can only do this. Like there's been such a long time, it's speaking from personal experience, there was such a long time where, because I was like an out gay man, and because I was naturally like feminine, that I was put into a stereotype of, oh, you're going to be in cabin crew, you're going to do this. Like, it was just very stereotypical stuff. But in my mind, it was like, I don't like want to do that. I know I can be really good at it, but it's just not something that I want to do. I don't feel the satisfaction in that. And so to take my love of running and my love of transport and merge them together, like, to me, it's like breaking a boundary of that. It doesn't matter about your orientation. And it's the same thing as well from looking at the Tokyo Olympics. A number of LGBT QIA plus athletes that have competed, they are at the Olympics. Their orientation bears no correlation to their capabilities as an athlete. And so that's why I don't have that as like a limitation for me. It's just, yeah. I know that was like a very like deep personal thing. But yeah, that's why I don't know, like to me, I just don't like, maybe I don't talk about it enough. I just think for me, I just don't want for it to take away from the product that's there, like with the content that's there, you know? I don't know. Anyway. Montage. Yes, I'm working on a montage. No worries, Reese. Thank you so much for tuning in. Brilliant. One day they sent me a t-shirt through the post for put Cybertrades on my name for the address. That is amazing. I love the little personal touch that they do. It's very much appreciated. Hi Graham, have you worked out how far you actually ran with all your running from the camera and running past the camera? I estimate you must have done at least an extra 20% over the official distance. So with the routes that I have, so I do have a massive spreadsheet on it's actually on my website. So runderground.run, there's a tab, there's a stats tab. One of them has an interactive map. So you see all of the different lines that I've ran, like all this other stuff. All of that is on there. And as well as the map, there's also a spreadsheet that's underneath it as well. And that has all of the routes, all of the data, the links, all that good stuff. So that's under the stats tab on my website, runderground.run. So RUN. That has all of the data and stuff that's broken down. That also includes, I mean, I didn't have it as like a separate column, but in terms of like running past the camera, then going back to the camera to pick up my camera, all of that is inclusive of the route itself. But yeah, I definitely imagine that the amount of times I've had to do that has absolutely added easily, I'd say easily like another like 50, maybe like 100 miles. No, that's a bit dramatic. Maybe 50 miles. Yeah, I'd say maybe 50 miles. That'd be a lot. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of that. Wait, what's the name of the person who's Northern Jeff? I'm interested because I watch you and Jeff, who are based in London, but I'm based up north, so it would be cool to know so I can watch them. Yeah, so his name is Nodrog, so it's Gordon backwards, Nodrog. So he's like the Northern Jeff. He talks a lot about transport in the north as well. I'd also recommend G Loves Trains as well. She just hit 4K subscribers, which is amazing. I love her content. She's a good laugh. Love her. Yeah, two very lovely northern content creators. And if I'm a northern creator, but in London. But yeah, I love it. I'm gay and Clybridge Station, hello. I'm gay and I don't bring it up in my modelling videos, as you say, so what if you're gay? It doesn't inhibit my railway modeling capability. Exactly that. It shouldn't take away from what, like, don't look at who it is that I am, look at what it is that I can do. I think that's like the main takeaway from it. Yeah, gay personally, I don't care. If you are a friend, I will love you as a friend. Exactly. Like, it to me, like, it's so interesting because I've met people before who've been like, "Hi, nice to meet you. I'm gay." I'm just like, okay, great. But I understand why. I know there's like a psychological thing which, you know, it's like the need of like validation. It's like the validating factor for them. There was somebody, oh, there was someone who asked me once before, like a long time ago, that said, what does it mean for you to be gay? And I said, nothing. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah. Like, it doesn't bear any, yeah, I don't know. It's just, I don't really know how to explain it other than like that's it. Like, there's nothing to elaborate on. I don't know. You're right, sexuality shouldn't confine or define you. It's still inspiring, and you are actually visible with your rainbow badge on your lapel. A small but powerful symbol. Thank you so much. It's interesting because I know that it's the NHS symbol, but it also has the rainbow flag on there too. I know there's been controversy surrounding that, whatever. For me, again, it's just a very like subtle, like subconscious nod that it's a space for everyone, you know. It's just I don't know. It's like a subliminal nuance. It's just to show that it's like, yeah, like there's well, yeah, it's just an open space for anyone. Like, again, like regardless of orientation or race or anything, like it's welcoming for everybody. G Love Trains is awesome. I agree. Very much, very much love her content. She's so fun. And yeah, exactly. It's what you can do. So true. Like, and that's why, like, yeah, I don't get it twisted. Like, you know, it's I just think there's such a, especially within sports, that there is such a there is a problem with discrimination within sports, not just against orientation, but especially within race and gender. And I think that was especially highlighted within the Euro 2020s. I think it's just interesting for the number of people that say that there's not a problem are the ones that are dissonant from that. And I think the more that people are talking about it, the more it's like an educational standpoint, which is kind of like it feels like a, I don't know, it feels like a conflict of interest in what I do, because on one hand, it's important to have representation. I also think that it's not a factor that I think should be important. I don't know. I see both perspectives of it, and it's just a difficult one to, like, I don't know. It's a very difficult one. Have you had your hair cut? Yes, I am a bald man. That's why I have a cap now. I'm fully, yeah. She's shaven. Yeah, shaved all my hair off. The bleach killed my hair, and I just wasn't happy with how I was looking with the bleached hair. So I was like, oh, get it off. I don't care. Let's get it off. So I shaved it all off. This has been a really fun 90 minutes, but I've got to go. Love you, girl. Have a nice rest of your evening. Alison, thank you so much, my love. Thank you so much for stopping by. Speaking of that, I know I said I was going to finish at 9. Clearly that didn't happen, but I will need to wrap up like very, very shortly because it's been going on for like 2 hours. But yeah, it's yeah. I also need to go as well. No worries. Yeah, I think I'll start to yeah, I think I'll start to wrap up everything now. But no, for those of you that have watched Well, first of all, if you watch this live stream, thank you so much. And just before we go, if you do like the stream, that would be very, very much appreciated. Just as he heads out, that'd be lovely. But if you watch this entire stream, thank you so much. And just even from this whole experience of running the entire London Tube map, like what I've said before, I deeply mean this. Like, I deeply mean this. I genuinely mean this. That I didn't think that one person would be interested, because running is already a niche thing, transport is already a niche thing, and I didn't feel like as if I could be accepted in either one of them communities. And so to see from like to see people resonate with what I do so much, and to make me feel so welcomed and so like the fact that you enjoy what I do means the absolute world, and I do genuinely mean that. So thank you so much for continuing to support what I do, and I'm glad that people find something to take away from it, if it's, you know, education, if it's from, you know, maybe a personal thing, whatever it is. I just want to say just a massive thank you. And yeah, if I say any more, I'll start crying and be a blubbering mess. But on the meantime, yeah, this has been an absolute pleasure, and I do miss streaming. I don't know when it is I would do the next one, but I hope sometime. Maybe not as long. I might do it as like a month. I don't know, maybe like a monthly thing. I don't know. I'll need to figure it out when I'm not running Thameslink. But anyway, that is everything from my end. Thank you all so much. If you've been here for the whole time, if you stopped by halfway through, whatever it is, yeah, I very much appreciate it. So thank you all for stopping by and spending your Monday evening with me. And we shall catch up sometime, I hope, in the near future. And Michael, thank you so much, sweetie. Thank you. That is very lovely. Thank you so much. And a purple heart to you as well. And Jane, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, we will catch up all very soon. Next Monday, last video running the London Tube map, and then week after that is a special video, I think. Oh, I don't know. I need to check my schedule. Either way, there's loads of content coming. There's lots of content coming, so I'm so excited to share with you. Anyway, thank you so much. I will see you all very, very soon. Take care.